Right. It's 6 o'clock. I'm the chief moderator. Jerry Miller. And you can fill in. So you have to bear with it. So it's my first time ever in public with those three. Of course. So we need to have, these are the sort of the work part of it. We need to have 50 people there to make any vote count so that they can avoid it. Please don't go. There's a mic set up here. If you have any comments, you'd like to make them up to the mic if you can. And according to the manual I read, you're supposed to address your questions to the moderator and not to I will relay it. In real terms, if they hear you, they can respond, but you're supposed to make it look like. All right. Any questions about this other than that? All right. We already elected a moderator. Article 2 was to elect the 2 members to the select board, and we did. For selectman, John McCauley got 65 votes and was elected. Jeff Wood got 59 votes and was elected, and there was a scattered write-in vote. For school board, 1 member, Catherine Dooley, was elected with 63 votes. And for school district trustee, Anthony Smith got 66 votes. So there they are, they're all in. Here you get to come up and swear. Yeah, you're going to be sworn in, don't swear. You got more votes than anybody. Let's go to your real name. I follow the United States and states. I don't follow the stairs and fade to get dark before the abilities to be against exactly the Constitution and the law of the state. All right, that's done. It was our campaigning by everyone. Um, Generally, when we do this, we go through and we introduce the motions in a positive fashion and accept them, and then we discuss it. So if Phil stands up and makes a positive motion, someone will second it, and then we can debate it, we can change it. It's not necessarily in their opinion, but they're reading. So don't yell at it. Ready? Article 3, to see if non-voters shall be allowed when recognized to speak during the 2023 annual town meeting. Okay, that's good. Any discussion of the article? Hearing none, we move on to vote. All those in favor of passing Article 3? All those opposed? Hearing none, I'd say Article 3 passes. Article 4. The rest of these articles, as they get longer and longer and longer, and I'm going to suggest that you, when I ask for it, you give me consensus not to read the whole thing. The short ones we'll deal with for now, but I'm planning to just read the main body. If you have any questions, if you want me to continue reading anything, feel free to shout out and I'll do it. So, there we go. Article 4, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Town of Mount Desert Alewife Ordinance be enacted. The ordinance reads, in its entirety, regulations for the taking of alewives and blueback herring shall be as follows. For the year July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024, there shall be no taking of alewives and blackback herring in the town of Mount Desert. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion of the alewife ordinance? Hearing none, I call it up for a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 4 passes. Article 5. Shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Amendments to the Town of Mount Desert Harbor Ordinance be enacted? Do you want me to read it? No. If everybody's happy, I'm happy to take your consent and not read the whole article to you. Is that acceptable to everybody? Does anybody object? All right. Oh, that's a good idea. I will read the notes at the bottom that explains what you just allowed me not to read to you. These amendments to the harbor ordinance are to bring the definition of resident into line with state statute 38 MRS 11-1 and to provide better oversight for moorings located outside the harbors of the town. Now, does anyone discuss it? Oh, why don't you? Now would we like to discuss it? Hearing nothing, I say we vote. All those in favor? All opposed? All right, Article 5 passes. Article 6. Shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Ordinance Regulating the Building and Street Numbering in the Town of Mount Desert be enacted? And it's mostly all a strikeout. Explanatory note, this amendment eliminates the sunset provision in the ordinance to be consistent with elements of the town charter dated May 2nd, 2022 referendum election. Any discussion? Does anybody need an explanation of sunset clause? We have about 10 of these coming up. To give a good explanation of the sunset. This is the best part of the job, as I'm going to answer. Yep.
Okay, so basically the sunset clause is something that in the charter, the old charter, put a limit, a time limit on each of the ordinances. So that you had to, revoke them every time they expired. And we talked to our attorneys and the MMA, and they said that is highly unusual, and they recommended that we remove the sunset clauses, specifically articles for the ordinances, so that we don't have to revoke them at any time. When they expire, so they don't expire, they are reviewed by the charter every 5 years. So if there's any recommended changes, it would have to come to the meeting, then they would be submitted. Does that help?
That's all.
Alright. Go play with it all. Article 6. Article 5, we did. We discussed, we got the explanation. Any other discussion of the article? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 5 passed. Article 6. So an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled ordinance regulating the building and street numbering in the town of Mount Desert being enacted. Another sunset revision elimination. Any second? Right, any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor of Article 6? All those opposed? Article 7, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled amendments to the town of Mount Desert dog ordinance being enacted. Once again, this is eliminating the sunset provision. Any discussion about the dog ordinance? All those in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, I'd say that it passes. Article 8, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled amendment to the town of Mount Desert Harbor ordinance be enacted. Any discussion of this? All those in favor? Opposed? Article 9, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled Town of Mount Desert Public Water Supply Protection Ordinance be enacted. You will. This amendment eliminates the sunset provision of the ordinance to be consistent with amendments to the town charter dated May 2nd, 2022 referendum. Oh, sorry about that. Replace the no swimming and limiting motor vehicle access to Great Pond. Is that better? All right. Now we'll do Article 10, you can read that again. So an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled amendments to the town of Mount Desert Public Road Acceptance Ordinance be enacted. This amendment eliminates the sunset provision to be consistent with amendments to the town charter dated May 2nd, 2022. Thank you. Where I'll be happy. Let's go back. Discussion. Should we vote on it? All those in favor? All those opposed? Say that passes. Now we'll do Article 10. So an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled amendments to the town of Mount Desert Public Road Acceptance Ordinance be enacted. This amendment eliminates the sunset provision in the ordinance to be consistent with the town charter dated May 2nd, 2022, referendum election. Any discussion of Article 10? All those in favor of Article 10? Any opposition? Enthusiastic, I your leaving. Article 11, so an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled Rural Wastewater Treatment Support Program Ordinance of the town of Mount Desert be enacted. This amendment eliminates the sunset provision in the ordinance to be consistent with the amendments to the town charter. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Better. Any opposition? Article 11 passes. Article 12. Shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, entitled Solid Waste Ordinance of the Town of Mount Desert be enacted? This is limited to the sunset provision in the ordinance to be consistent with the town charter dated May 2nd, 2022. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposition? Article 12 passes. Article 13. So an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled Town of Mount Desert Use of Public Places Ordinance be enacted. This amendment eliminates the sunset provision in the ordinance to be consistent with amendments to the town charter dated May 2nd, 2022 referendum election. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposition? All right, Article 13 passes. Article 14. Shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, and entitled Amendment to the Land Use Zoning Ordinance regarding lots within the Village Commercial District in the Village of Northeast Harbor be enacted as set forth below. This amendment amends section 3.5 footnote E, clarify that the minimum lot size of 1,000 square feet only applies to lots within the Village of Northeast Harbor. Do you want me to read through the whole thing, or? No. There's one addition in the fee, they had 5 years. Any discussion of this? These are mostly Luso tweets. All those in favor of passing Article 14? Any opposition? Hearing none, Article 14 passed. Article 15. Shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023, entitled Amendments to the Land Use Zoning Ordinance to change the land use district designation of tax map 3 lot 026 and map 003 lot 027 be enacted as set forth below. This article changes tax map 003 lot 26 and map 3 lot 27 from shoreline residential to residential 2. Any questions or discussion?
Why is they remove the shoreline?
Or should go any other way? Answer man.
Wilson, planning consultant, working for the town, appreciate the opportunity to speak. This was a requested zone change from the property owners of these lots, and actually those lots are outside of the shoreline zone. And shoreline zone, which 50 feet from reserve has different zoning districts, that are called shoreline zoning districts. So this particular lot is actually, these lots are outside. So, it's a request from the property owners. So, I understand. Correct, yeah, if you see the map. Yeah, the depth is the shoreline zone, these lots would not. Otherwise, we want. There may be other lots that are designated that way. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, until we identify what we say. Yes. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, and actually that, those lots right next to it are partially within the shoreline zone. So if you read the state's shoreline zoning requirements, it deals with lots that are either partially or fully located in the shoreline zone, that's the reason why we. So it's part of this request. Yeah, it's confusing. Any other questions? Have been answered? Yes, we suggest there's some way to do that. No, not necessarily. I think that the shoreline zoning standards in the ordinance deal with that area in 250 feet. And we're sort of working through that process right now to try to figure out. At one point in the past, shoreline zoning was a separate ordinance and then it was combined into one ordinance. Some of this stuff is actually reflected. Sort of that. But I don't think that maps are a mistake. I think we just need to figure out how it works. Sometimes per lot basis and sometimes as we make for the comprehensive plan process coming. Take it over. Good.
Any more questions, discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 15 passes. Article 16, shall an ordinance dated May 2, 2023 and entitled amendments to the land use zoning ordinance to clarify the dimensional requirements for one family and two family dwellings be enacted as set forth below. This warrant article amends the LUZO section 6B11.32 to clarify that dimensional standards for a duplex are not doubled until a second duplex structure is added. Right. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I call it to a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 16 passes. Article 17, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled amendments to the land use zoning ordinance to add residential storage building / shed as permitted uses in sections 3.4 be enacted as set forth below. This article adds residential storage building sheds as allowed uses so that the home property owners can build these structures without being tied to a residential dwelling unit. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Any opposition? Article 17 passes. Article 18, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled amendments to the land use zoning to remove the air landing sites be enacted as set forth below. This article removes the air landing sites in section 6B in the ordinance. Katie? The landing strip. The runway. Yep.
What's the effect of
There is real effect because there are no landing strips in the town. We get old again.
Good question. Air landing strips are not currently allowed. And they would not be allowed. This actually just eliminates the standard in the ordinance that if the planning board were to review that, there's a section in the ordinance that deals with that. So it's let's go to the section here. So these are under the specific performance standards of the ordinance. So if they were allowed, we'd have to go to the allowed uses table to say, hey, I'd like to do an air landing strip. Is this an allowed use? It isn't currently allowed use. This is just that there's a standard in the ordinance that is not corresponding to allowed use. So it doesn't like eliminating it, but just kind of cleaning up the ordinance. Yes.
Well,
Also work with, there, I think that would be something that would fall within that, yes, if you wanted to do it sort of as a private project, that have something that would fall into that category. But we've also had this discussion with warrant committee, and if who's open about life flight, and it doesn't apply to that. Thank you.
any other questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Passes. Article 19, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled amendments to the land use zoning ordinance regarding the definition of marina and expansion of use be enacted as set forth below. The article adds language to the definitions for marinas and expansion of a use to clarify that the harbor master regulates moorings and that an expansion of use does not include adding moorings. Questions, discussion? Hearing none, call it to the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 19 passes. Article 20. Shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Amendments to the Land Use Ordinance, the zoning ordinance to amend the deadline for establishment of use be enacted as set forth below. This article changes the time frame for establishment of use for conditional use from 12 months to 24 months. Questions, discussion? Paul? What do you mean?
Well, we can have to meet for conditionally, so 12 months, 24 months, I would start again.
You have to show use of the thing within 12 months to continue your. Right, and this is making it 20 minutes. That's. the whole point. Any other questions? So. All in favor? Any opposition? Article 20 passes. Article 21. Shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Amendments to the Land Use Zoning Ordinance to correct the date for when a lot was to be created. For purposes of applying the access provisions in 6B.11.2 to be enacted as set forth below. This article makes a housekeeping correction to date when a lot was created for purposes of applying the access provisions in 6B11-2. Questions? Queries? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 21 passes. Article 22, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Amendments to the Land Use Zoning Ordinance to clarify where the setback is measured from a road or right of way be enacted as set forth below. This article clarifies where a road setback is measured from. Questions or queries? Hearing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 22 passes. Article 23, shall an ordinance dated May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Amendment to the Land Use Zoning Ordinance regarding the footprint limitation for principal and accessory structures in the shoreland zone be enacted as set forth below. This article provides a housekeeping change to make the local ordinance consistent with shoreland zoning by increasing the footprint limitation for principal and accessory structures in the shoreland zone from 15% to 20%, which is more consistent with the state guidelines. Any questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 23. Sorry, we're doing more business work here. Article 24, so an ordinance entitled May 2nd, 2023 and entitled Amendments to the Land Use Zoning Ordinance to allow exceptions to the height limitations consistent with the state shoreline zoning laws be enacted as set forth below. This article allows an exception to height is measured when a structure is located within an area of special flood hazard. Any questions or queries? All those in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, Article 24 passes. Gifts. Article 25. To see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to accept conditional gifts unconditional, you want me to read the numbers? MRSA 30-A 5654, unconditional gifts, MRSA 30-A 5655. Equipment proceeds from sale of fire equipment funds on behalf of the municipal fire department. It is understood that any funds received will be placed in the fire equipment reserve fund. Any questions about this? Hearing none, all those in favor of Article 25? All those opposed? Hearing none, Article 25 passes. We're gonna put, are you ready for this? We're gonna pause here to give the Spirit of America award. Martha has a plaque. Who else is here? I didn't see it, I think. You will. The Town of Mount Desert 2023 Spirit of America Award tribute is to Ellen Tappas. Dedicated volunteer. Dedicated volunteer to the community. She loved and made better. Through her through her art, she shared its beauty with us all. And we're here to accept it. Earth is presenting it. Thank you.
Your mother meant so much to this town, and this town meant so much to your mother. We miss her a lot.
All right. Article 26, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to lease a portion of the so-called visitor center at the Northeast Harbor Marina to the ticket booth operators for a term of 1 year, beginning July 1st, 2023, under such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen, in its sole discretion, deems to be the best interests of the town. Any discussion of Article 26? Hearing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 26 passes. Article 27, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to lease a portion of the so-called visitor center at the Northeast Harbor Marina to the Mount Desert Chamber of Commerce for a term of 1 year beginning July 1st, 2023. Under such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen, in its sole discretion, deems to be in the best interest of the town. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? Article 27 passes. Article 28, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will authorize the Board of Selectmen to enter into a 10-year lease with the town of Cranberry Island for 123 parking spaces in the town office municipal parking lot under terms and conditions the Board deems advisable. A copy of these lease documents shall be on file at the town office and available for public inspection no less than 7 days prior to the town meeting, and that copy shall be certified as accurate by the town clerk. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 28 passes. Article 29, see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will authorize the Board of Selectmen to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the Neighborhood House Club, Inc., for management and maintenance of the municipal swimming pool for a term of 1 year beginning July 1st, 2023, under such terms and conditions as the Board of Selectmen, in its sole discretion, deems to be in the best interest of the towns. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 29 passes. Article 30. To see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to sell a surplus emergency standby Kohler 80 kilowatt generator to the Desert Island Regional School District for a lump sum cost of $12,500 on an as-is whereas basis. Said generator being the same generator that was leased by the MDI High School from the town for $1 in September 2022, and is presently in place and in use at the high school, with said lease scheduled to terminate on or before June 1st, 2023, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen or their designee to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to accomplish this sale. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 30 passes. Article 31. Shall the voters of the town of Mount Desert authorize the select board to negotiate and complete the sale of the 2013 ambulance received by the town by gift of the Northeast Harbor Ambulance Service on or about April 26, 2022, by returning it to Northeast Harbor to the ambulance service for $1 pursuant to the terms of the gift agreements by which NEHAS has donated it to the town. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 31 passes. We're going to get into a series of long ones, and if I would like general consensus that it's okay to just read the beginning of it and not go through the whole thing. If anybody objects at any time and wants me to read the whole thing, feel free to ask and I will. Article 32. To see if the town of Mount Desert will vote to accept Patterson Hill Road, exclusive of Clubhouse Way, serving the Patterson Hill subdivision as it is defined below and subject to the conditions set forth below. You all good with me not reading it? You need to sort of say yay loudly. Article 32, discussion of any kind? Hearing none, you're still reading, right? All those in favor? Any opposition? Article 32 passes. Article 33 is also a rather long article. To see if the town of Mount Desert will vote to accept the existing private sanitary sewer collection and conveyance system serving the Patterson Hill subdivision as the same is defined below and subject to the conditions and requirements set forth below. Any discussion? Yep. Appendix D, page 56. Yep. Thank you. Does anybody need further explanation of this? Because we can get it. Okay. The map does help. Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor of Article 33? All those opposed? Article 33 passes. Article 34, I'll read you the whole one of this one. To see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will amend the policy adopted March 1986 and amended May 2010 and May 3rd, 2016 entitled Town of Mount Desert Investment Policy as described and deleted through strike-through markings. See Appendix E, pages 57 to 59. Any discussion or questions? Yeah.
Page 59, Captain B, instead of 712, the application to be an investment fund. Can someone explain the genesis of this and why the tenant are?
So ESG funds are, it's a conversation starting in investment. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not, you just know. The,
Can you hear me now? Okay. So environmental sustainability funds, essentially it's responsive to the town's declaration of climate emergency. It started in the investment committee talking about, ways to, ensure that the town's investment reflects that declaration while being responsive to, fiduciary concerns as well. The 7 to 12% came out of a discussion with our financial advisor, First National Law Enforcement, where they advised that that was an appropriate allocation to be able to, meet the town's goals, for sustainability while, giving them something to work with to make advantageous allocations.
And sorry, I just missed the beginning, you said it was discussing the event following which initiative?
There was a declaration of a climate emergency at last year. So in a lot of the discussions that we have, we think about how our decisions will impact that declaration. And that's where this conversation started.
Looking at that, it's still overall. It's not going to change the requirements.
So. The rate of return goals are unchanged. There are, essentially that was why 7 to 12% was identified, was, it was advised that 100% probably wouldn't be appropriate because there are segments of the market that they're gonna miss with ESG fund, whereas 7 to 12% was advised to us as being appropriate allocation to meet the directive while not jeopardizing the ability to maximize, returns.
any more questions? All right. Hearing none. We'll call Article 34 to a vote. All those in favor? Any opposition? Article 34 passes. Article 35, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to establish a new debt service operating reserve account. The select board shall be authorized to use funds appropriated to the debt service operating reserve account to meet the goal of minimizing year-to-year fluctuations in debt service expense and utilizing pro rata allocation of net interest dividends within the town's reserve investment portfolio to subsidize future debt service payments. Said reserve may not be used for debt service attributable to enterprise funds. Any questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 35 passes. Article 36, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to transfer the balance held in the police training cost reserve account 404-24473 to the police capital improvement reserve account 404-100-24405. Any questions or discussion? Call it to a vote, or, all those in favor of Article 36? All those opposed? Article 37, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to transfer the balance held in the assessor capital improvement reserve account 4020600-24208 to the assessor revaluation reserve account 4020600-24207. The Vision server was the only asset assigned to the assessment capital improvement reserve, which is no longer needed due to cloud-hosted server. The balance of the assessment capital improvement reserve as of January 30th, 2023 was $8,543.63. The actual transfer amount will differ based on subsequent pro rata allocation of portfolio performance. Any questions? Article 38, this is another long one. Oh, we didn't, I just assumed. All those in favor? All those opposed? Guess it's more legitimate if I don't just decide. Article 38, keep me on my feet. So, we're on my feet. Shall the town of Mount Desert be authorized to issue general obligation bonds or notes of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $50,000 to pay for professional technical services, including but not necessarily limited to topographical survey, design, permitting, and bidding services for improvements to portions of the town's sidewalks and curbings, with all sidewalk locations totaling approximately 4,160 feet and collectively referred to as the project. And further to authorize the select board or its designees to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to issue the bond or note of the town, which may be callable and to accomplish the project. Said improvements shall include the following segments. See section F, pages 60-62 for maps showing the project area. Questions, queries? All those in favor of Article 38? All those opposed? Article 39. Shall the town of Mount Desert be authorized to issue a general obligation bond or note of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $210,000 to pay for professional, technical, and construction services, including but not necessarily limited to site survey, design bidding, and construction services for renovations of the 2 existing town-owned tennis and pickleball courts. With said renovation to provide 2 fully functional tennis and pickleball courts, and further to authorize the selectmen or its designee to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to issue the bond or note of the town, which may be callable and to accomplish the renovation project. See appendix G, page 63 for that. Any questions or queries? None heard. Let's call Article 39 to a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Let's do number 40. Also a long article. Without it being reading. Shall the town of Mount Desert be authorized to issue general obligation bonds or notes of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $780,000 to pay for professional, technical, and construction services, including but not necessarily limited to topographical survey, design, permitting, bidding service, and construction for improvements to 3 existing town-owned parking lots. And further to authorize the Board of Selectmen or its designee to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to accomplish the project. 2 of the 3 parking lots are identified as 1, the paved town of Cranberry Isle east lot southerly of the town office, and 2, the paved town office lower level parking lot adjacent to the police and fire departments, as to which said parking lots said improvements shall include but not necessarily limited to reclaiming existing paved surfaces, replacing the existing traffic controls with new ones, and installing new LED dark sky and lighting, and constructing surface and water depth drainage improvement. Would you like me to read the 3rd parking lot, or would you like me to stop? Oh, we got both. Keep reading it, because we gotta do it. Only takes 1 keep reading. The 3rd said parking lot is identified as the gravel parking lot located in the village of Seal Harbor, accessed off Route 3 Main Street, northerly of the access driveway to the village of Seal Harbor wastewater treatment plant, as to which 3rd said parking lot said improvements shall include removing existing soil material from the entire footprint of the lot and replacing it with new soil material used in roadway and parking lot construction, drainage improvements, and lighting. In all 3 of said parking lots, said improvements shall include the construction of new basic surface layers of bituminous concrete, pavement, and other associated work typically recognized by the industry to complete the end of the project, and further to authorize the selectmen or its designees to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to issue the bond or note of the town, which may be callable to accomplish the project. Any questions? Yep, Paul?
Now from York.
Who's responsible for it?
But
There's, you have a map. There is. You're familiar with which lot this is, you're talking about those in Seal Harbor, I'm assuming. Three to one in Seal Harbor. Is this a lot you're thinking of that, thinking of? So that'll be part of the work that we do. in determining- I don't know the history of it myself, Right. So we are going to have to do a fair amount of work at this lot in particular to understand to stabilize it as well. I don't know what is there, but that I think is part of the process. Determining if there is anything that is hazardous as we go forward.
climate baseball. Also have, we have entered into runoff on this.
That's a different lot. than this.
That's a different lot.
Yes. Are you, the lot you're thinking of where you said the Jordans?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's actually closer, it's farther up the road. There are some settling tanks there and there was some work that was done by DOT and there is an outfall that has been putting runoff into a Stanleyville. That's a different lot than what this is. That's a little farther up the road. Jordan Pond. A little farther. So I think this is different than that. This is closer to the wastewater treatment plant. Yeah.
Available.
Yes. This is the other one. You're talking. Well, I'll look into the whether or not there's any waste on the site that needs to be remediated. and Manage that as we get to it, but as far as the one that has one off that goes to the park, that's a different lot than this. All right. Oh, hang on. All right,
So the 780,000 is just for permitting and bidding down, and design, survey, and it's not any construction cost.
gonna try it. It's also Brian's first year. No, there's construction included in that.
So that's, project.
Yes. Any other questions? Hearing none, let's call Article 40 to the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 40 passes. Article 41. Shall the town of Mount Desert be authorized to issue general obligation bonds or notes of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $900,000 to pay for professional, technical, and construction services, including but not necessarily limited to topographic survey design, permitting, bidding services, and construction of the relocation of a portion of the town sanitary sewer infrastructure consisting of approximately 400 feet of sanitary sewer pipe, manhole, and associated appurtenances to complete the relocation work project in general conformance with industry standards of infrastructure work and to further authorize the select board or its designee to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to issue the bond of the town which may be callable and to accomplish the project. Do you want me to read you where the work is located? Yes, you do. Thank you. Only one guy has to make it, you get to hear it. Said work is located
In the village of Soamesville, within the Maine Department of Transportation right-of-way of State Route 3-198, and said relocation shall be in accordance with the MDOT requirement to do so at the town's expense, all in conformity with section 13 of the MDOT Utility Accommodation Rules, 17-9, chapter 210, covering bridges and other highway structures. With said rule stating that if there is a conflict between the location of infrastructure the town was previously authorized by the MDOT to construct and did construct, and the anticipated construction of new infrastructure by the MDOT, the village of Soamesville, specific replacing the existing bridge located at State Route 3-198 that conveys various modes of traffic across Pittsburgh Road, including vehicular, cycling, and foot traffic for the new bridge at the same general location of the existing bridge. Then the previously authorized infrastructure must be relocated at the town's expense. Said bridge replacement construction activities are tentatively scheduled in 2023 and 2024, but if said bridge replacement construction activities are delayed, then the project described in this article shall also be delayed. See appendix, page 66, where I'm at. Any discussion? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 41 passes. Article 42. Shall the town of Mount Desert be authorized to issue general obligation bonds or notes of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $360,000 to finance construction, contract administration, inspection, and construction services associated with drainage improvements to the Beach Hill Crossroad in the general area where Dennings Brook crosses under Beach Hill Crossroad. Said improvements will be in conformance with the Maine Department of Environmental Protection Steam Smart Program requirements, and with said repairs to include, but not necessarily be limited to, replacing the two corroded metal pipes with a concrete box culvert, placing stone riprap for stabilization and erosion control on the embankments on both sides, erecting guardrails along the top of the embankments on both sides of the road, and placing earth and fill, loam and seed in the area and other amenities and appurtenances required to complete the improvements, and further to authorize the select board as designee to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to issue the bond or note of the town which may be callable, and to accomplish the project. Any discussion? Yep. Okay. Any more discussion? I don't remember if we voted on it, if it came up, we didn't get around to it, or if they postponed it. Yeah. Do we- Yeah. It's a-
We did vote on it last year with a different funding source. Very more like- We voted on it last year with a different funding source, which is a market derived source. Obviously, last year was not great in the market, so we're looking at this.
So how many dollars for last year?
The amount did not change. But nothing has been spent other than the grant funds that we received for this project. We received $125,000 for this project through NDOT. No town funds have been spent.
But the projects are preserved in the out.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, the project is essentially underway. We're looking at this as a better funding mechanism. If this were to fail, the funding authority would stay with the town of Gainesville, which is still viable to we're looking at this as better.
Any other questions? Calling Article 42 to a vote, all in favor? All opposed? The ayes carry. Says the clerk. One abstention. Article 43, shall the town of Mount Desert be authorized to issue general obligation bonds or notes of the town in a principal amount not to exceed $250,000 to finance construction-related services, including but not necessarily limited to construction, contract administration, inspection and construction services associated with improvements and repairs to approximately 200 lineal feet of erosion in the Seal Harbor Beach shoreline eroded by a strong storm surge in 2020. Said damaged area located in the northeasterly portion of the water of Seal Harbor per se, and located in general down over the embankment west of the Steamboat Wharf Road, with said improvements and repairs to include, but not necessarily be limited to, placing geotextile, anchor boulders, stone riprap, earth and fill, loam and seed, and other amenities and appurtenances required to complete the improvements and repairs. And further, to authorize the select board or its designee to execute any and all contracts and documents and do any and all things necessary or convenient to issue the bond or note by the town which may be callable and to accomplish the project. See Appendix K, page 68 for a map. Any questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 43 passes. Article 44. See if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the select board to accept and expend on behalf of the town additional state, federal, and other funds, including gifts and grants, as well as funds received under the American Rescue Plan Act and similar legislation received during the fiscal year 2023-2024 for town purposes, provided that such additional funds do not require the expenditure of local funds not previously appropriated. Any questions or commentary? All those in favor of Article 44? All those opposed? Article 44 passes. Article 45. We're halfway through. Article 45, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to approve July 1st each year as the date on which all taxes will be due and payable, providing that all unpaid taxes of September 1 of each year shall be charged interest at an annual rate of 8% per year. Tax club members are exempt within the terms and conditions of the town's tax club agreement. Any discussion? All those in favor of Article 45? All those opposed? Article 45 passes as written. Article 46. If the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the tax collector to enter into a standard tax club agreement with taxpayers, whereby one of the taxpayer agrees to pay specified monthly payments to the town based on the taxpayer's estimated and actual tax obligations in the current year property taxes, real estate and or person. The town agrees to waive interest on timely payment. 3, the town authorizes the tax collector to take payment of taxes prior to commitment of taxes. 4, the agreement automatically terminates if 2 consecutive payments are missed and the taxpayer thereupon becomes subject to the same due date and interest rate as non-participating taxpayers. 5, only taxpayers who are paid in full on their property tax obligations may participate. And 6, interested taxpayers will apply annually for participation by the date shown on the application, date and application format to be determined by the tax collector. Any discussion? Article 46 passes as written. Article 47. Got that it's gonna pass. We'll try and see. All those in favor? What do you know? And all those opposed? Alright, now 46 passes. Article 47, to see if the town will never let me do this again. Article 47, to see if the town will vote to authorize the tax collector to accept repayment of property taxes not get committed, not to exceed the estimated amount to be committed in the subsequent year, with no interest to be paid on same. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I think we should vote. All those in favor of Article 47 as written? All those opposed? Article 47 passes. Article 48, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to set the interest rate to be paid by the town for evaded taxes that have been paid off at the rate of 4% per year. Could have somebody catch these. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposition? Article 48 passes. Article 50. See if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize expenditures to pay any tax abatements granted by the assessor, board of assessment review, or select board, together with any interest due thereon from the town during the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023, in an aggregate amount not to exceed the property tax commitment overlay. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor? Any opposition? Article 49 passes. Article 50, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the select board to dispose by public bid of town-owned property other than real property with a value of $30,000 or less, under such terms and conditions as it deems advisable. Any discussion? Article 50 goes to a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 50 passes. Article 51. Oh. Where sees you all sneaking off? And if we run out of a quorum, we have to stop, and that means we have to do this again another night. I don't have a count, but under 50 and we have to quit. So if you could possibly stay, you can go out and for a stroll, come back, and stay within the building. But we really need you to stay if you can. 52. It is starting to dwindle out. See, there's two going. I'm sorry. As far as I know, we've only ever had to cancel. Article 51. To see if the inhabitants of town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the select board to sell at public auction or to advertise sealed bid and to convey titles obtained under tax deeds and other deeds of conveyance to the inhabitants of the town. Any land or buildings in lieu of payment of taxes have the power to authorize redemption. Municipal officers shall use the special sale process required by 36 MRS 943-C for qualifying homestead property if they choose to sell it to anyone other than the former owners. Any discussion of Article 51? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 51 passes. Article 52. To see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the select board to contract for services in amounts not to exceed appropriation for same under such terms and conditions as deemed advisable. Any discussion of Article 52? All those in favor of Article 52 as written? All those opposed? Article 52 passes. Article 53. To see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to transfer $750,000 from the undesignated fund balance account number 100-38300 to reduce the 2023-2024 tax commitment. Second. Any discussion about this? All those in favor? Oh, Wanda, what do you want to? Sorry?
What is the reserve after that is taken out?
What is the reserve that was taken?
My best to give a simple answer. There's a lot of. So the last audited, undesignated fund balance was 6/30/2022 of $3.64 million. Essentially what these articles do is create a budgetary deficit going into tax commitment. Over the lifetime of doing this, every year we say 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, and we don't get anywhere near touching that. we end up oftentimes actually adding to surplus. And so baking in the 700,000 that was approved at last town meeting was baked into the 2023 tax commitment. And then this with, expected increases and such, expecting somewhere around 2.6 to $3 million at the end of fiscal year 2024. After the time for standard, that's actual, that we can see. I'm sorry, it's complicated. Long story short, we talked on this year after year after year after year, and the goal has been established for a long time. We've blown past it every single year. If you go back and look at the 2017 town meeting, for example, the target balance at that point, given the budget deficit that was established at that time was about $2.7 million, and we're at $1 million over that now. And the target is to keep somewhere between 10 and 12% of our budget in undesignated fund balance. And right now we're sitting at 16, 17%. So we're well over that.
Thank you.
For help.
Any further questions? All those in favor of passage 53, Article 53? All those opposed? Article 53 passes. Article 54, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to authorize the select board to transfer up to $250,000 from the capital gains reserve account 400-242-02 to reduce the 2023-2024 tax commitment. The exact amount is limited by the aforementioned maximum value shall be determined by the select board timely assessment of current and expected market conditions. Any questions, queries? Hearing none. All those in favor of Article 54? All those opposed? Article 54 passes. Article 55, to see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and or appropriate as revenue through excise taxes, service fees, and miscellaneous sources for 2023-2024 town budget. So the figure is $1,965,157. Any discussion or questions about this? Hearing none, Article 55 can go to a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 55 passes. And Article 56, 57, and 58 amend previously approved appropriations. We'll see that as we go through. Article 56, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to ratify the overdraft that occurred in public works in the year ending June 30th, 2022 in the amount of $42,183.37. Said overage was primarily caused by expenditures in Department 515 Waste Management, exceeding budget expectations by $48,250.62, and Department 520 Buildings and Ground, exceeding budgeted expectations by $18,455.51. The overdraft would charge the undesignated fund balance. Total appropriations for Departments 501, 515, 520, 525, and 530, highways, waste management, buildings and grounds, parks and cemeteries, and environmental sustainability for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2022 were $2,729,726. And total expenditures recognized in said fiscal year amount was $2,771,909.37. And then you amend. You have. Okay. Thank you. He's going to explain it, right?
So after finalizing of this article, there was an audit adjustment for fiscal year 2022 that reduce the amount of overage from 42,003 down to 35,364.36. So I'll be recommending that we amend the overage to ratify from 42,183.37 to be 35,364.36.
Bill would like to recommend passage of the article, like to amend the article to read the figure 35,364.36 as explained. Do you want more explanation of what this means? Any other questions? Yeah, this is the amendment right now. We're just talking about the amendment. Any questions about the amendment? All those amending Article 56 to read exactly the same except for number 35,364.36 instead of 42,183.37. All those in favor? All those opposed? Now we go backwards to the main amendment. It's a little convoluted. The main amendment now reads with its amendments, see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert vote to ratify the overdraft of the Cleveland Public Works for the year ending June 30th, 2022 in the amount of $35,364.36. And then the rest of the language is exactly the same. Any discussion about the main amendment? Sorry. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 56 passes as amended. Article 57. To see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to ratify the overdraft that occurred in debt service for the year ending June 30th, 2022 in the amount of $2,381.09. The overdraft was charged to the undesignated fund balance. Said overdraft was caused by actual interest on certain debt service payments exceeding budgeted expectations. Total appropriations for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022 for Department 801 debt service were $1,863,050, and total expenditures recognized said fiscal year amount to $1,865,431.09. Any discussion or comments about Article 57? Hearing none, all in favor of passage of Article 57? All those opposed? Article 57 passes as written. Article 58. See if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to amend appropriations for Department 801 debt service within the general operating fund for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023 from $1,736,705 to $1,746,000. The difference in original and revised appropriations will be charged to the designated fund balance, subject to the actual variances in audited activity. Such amendment in appropriations is necessitated primarily by the difference in interest expense budgeted for and actually incurred for bond series 2018 road projects. Any more discussion? New discussion, any questions? All, hearing none, all in favor of Article 58 passing as written? All those opposed? Article 58 passes as written. Article 59, see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 200 through 221, General Government, Governing Body, Selectmen, Municipal Management, Town Clerk, Registrar, Elections, Planning Board, Finance, Treasurer, Tax Collector, Assessment, Code Enforcement, Unallocated Funds, Human Resources, Technology, and Contracting, Municipal and Community-Oriented Services for the 2023-2024 budget. Would you like me to read how much each body gets? Or we, it's all right to pass it? No one objects? You object?
$1.
All right, any discussion on this?
What was
the amount last year that was?
I don't remember. Does anybody remember? Do you remember what article it was last year? Just ask. I got it. Okay.
Got it. So last year, the total was 1,541,146. One caveat on that is that the community-oriented, services line that's for 143,000 was in a different part of the budget last year, so the increase would be, negated by that amount. Right, it was the end.
So, does that answer your question? All right. Good plan. All right, any other discussion or questions? All those in favor of Article 59 passing? All those opposed? Article 59 passes. Article 60. See what's on the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 300 general assistance support for the 2023-2024 town budget. Any discussion of Article 60? Yep.
General assistance.
Anybody that comes in that needs help is there for that's what general assistance is for.
Yeah.
Because we have no courthouses. To sit in. Sorry. Any more discussion or questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 60 passes as written. Article 61, see what's on the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 350 rural wastewater support for the 2023-2024 town budget.
$22,000.
All right, any discussion of Article 61? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Article 61 passes. Article 62, to see what's on the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 406 street light for the 2023-2024 town budget. Any questions or discussion about the street light thing? Diana? All of the town streetlights all the streetlights in town are owned by the town lights. These are already there, this is just to change the light bulbs over the years. For the electricity, the light bulbs never. But we already, it's just for the cost. Any other questions? All those in favor of Article 62 as written? All those opposed? Article 62 passes. Article 63. See what's on the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 401, 405, 407, and 408. Public safety, police, shellfish, animal control, and communications dispatch for the 2023-2024 town budget.
Second.
Any questions or queries or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of passing Article 63 as written? All those opposed? Article 63 passes. Article 64, to see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 403, 404, and 409, Public Safety, Fire Department, Hydrants, and Emergency Management for 2023 and 2024 town budget. Any discussion of Article 64? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 64 passes as written. Article 65, to see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 501, 515, 520, and 525, Public Works, Roads, Waste Management, Buildings and Grounds, Parks and Cemeteries, and 530, Environmental Sustainability for the 2023-2024 town budget. Any discussion of Articles 65, 64? 65. 65? Hearing none, we'll call Article 65 to a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 65 passes. Article 66, to see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 505 and 506 sewers wastewater for the 2023 and 2024 town budget. Can you guys hear those numbers? Any discussion? All those in favor of passing Article 66? All those opposed? Article 66 passes. Article 67, to see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 605 Recreation, Public Pool, Utilities and Maintenance for the 2023 and 2024 town budget. Any discussion of that? Hearing none. All those in favor of passage of Article 67? All those opposed? Article 68, to see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 701 Economic Community Development for the 2023-2024 town budget. Any questions or discussion? Wants to answer the economic community development. Derlin's gonna take it on.
That's the group that's charged with responsibility of looking at the community and seeing what perhaps can be done to enhance its viability. For example, $10,000 last year, we expended part of that in a survey for broadband study to try to determine the few remaining areas in the town of Mount Desert that are not contracted for broadband service at this point. We've identified 34 properties at this point. So that money came from that particular fund. Now this year we've got $10,000 in there again. We do not have it earmarked for anything because we don't know what may pop up. So that is there in case we do need to do something like hire a consultant to study some other projects similar to that one that we undertook with broadband last year. Any other questions?
Hearing none. We'll call Article 68 to the vote. All those in favor of passage of Article 68? All those opposed? Article 68 passes. Article 69, to see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 801 debt service for the 2023-2024 town budget.
Second.
So you guys can all hear the figures being read out back there? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor of passage of Article 69? All those opposed? Article 69 passes. To see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 851, third-party request agencies for the 2023-2024 town budget, village organizations, recreation, and public social service agencies, and historical museums. Do I have a motion? Any discussion or amendments? Do you have a question for me? What is you want to maybe, I can give you an explanation, now he's gonna amend it to that other figure. The difference is to make up for what was removed from some of the third-party requests. And in order, can you just put it back in there? I can't remember the specific groups that were involved. We can talk more about it. Anybody second? We're discussing the amendment to raise to raise it to $202,437. Any more discussion about this? Yep, go ahead.
$22,000. The selectmen at third-party request decided that they weren't going to fund requests from the SPCA. They weren't going to fully fund nursing school. They weren't going to fully fund the Enterprise Society or fully fund the Chamber of Commerce. NBI Historical Society owns the bridge in so-and-so, which I learned this year. I left the town of it. And the Historical Society has contacted someone to paint the bridge. And that's why their request this year was more than normal. I think they got a contract for $13,000 to paint the bridge. So if anyone knows anyone to paint the bridge over $11,000 for less than $13,000, God bless you, but I have to go with it and their money. I can't imagine any of us in this room thinking that the nursery school needs a decrease in the request. If anything, we should be giving them more money because they do such a great job with all of our children. Some of those first alumni people. Yes, PCA, who doesn't love that? Who doesn't need to fund the SPCA for all these kids? And the Chamber of Commerce, if it weren't for the Chamber of Commerce, all of the Chamber of Commerce, all of us in this community, especially during the pandemic, we'd be in business bad shape. So for that reason, I'm asking that we tonight put that $22,000 back into this request.
What?
Okay. And I would like to respond. Here. Okay, so year over year, I've been doing this since my 12th year. And before this, I was on the water committee for 2 years. And I've seen over the last 2 decades, I've seen this amount climb steadily every year. And this year, we got a couple of big requests, $20,000 here, $30,000 to $40,000 there. And at some point, you know, we have to stop the slide because the word's out, unvetted as default. Okay, now it's a small amount of money. The principle is there. The principle is that we're here to safeguard you. And one of the ways we do that is by looking at the request and saying, gee, $20,000 is a lot of money. Here's 10. Okay, seems pretty reasonable. Maybe you do some of the windows this year. Maybe you come back next year for $10,000. It's just fiscal responsibility. And if you want to keep going, access to power, or some of us can see it. But if you want to buy into that, that's fine. It's your vote. But that's why we did it, we're trying to protect you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, we're just voting still on amending this to read 202,000. No more questions or comments? All right, let's take it to a vote. All those in favor of voting on the amendment to change the figure from 180,437 to 202,437, please say aye. All those opposed? One more time with the ayes. Go ahead, all those in favor one more time? All those opposed? Okay. Close. I think the ayes have it. If anyone wants a hand count, we'll vote. We're happy to do it. But someone has to object and ask. Otherwise. Right, well, you're left, is anybody willing to second? All right, we can do a hand count. Everyone can vote. We're voting on the amendment to change the figure from 180, 180,437 to 202,437. Then we get to vote again on the main article. So it'll be twice. Hand count, only those people with blue cards can count if you snuck. Freeze. All right, all those in favor, please raise your blue card. And you can count. This one up. Okay. I think they're done, you can put them down. All those opposed, raise your blue cards. They're done counting, you can put your card down. All right, results are to the vote on the amendment, 47 yes, 20 no's. So the amendment is now accepted and voted in. Article 7 now reads as amended. Is there any more discussion on Article 70? Yeah.
You all know that some of them request not all that people are, excuse me, the asking are not only asking on them to serve. They should be asking, is in fact the SPCA, is in fact, are they asking the other communities of the island for money? Some are absolutely not. And so, we have to put money from we have that. And that is, indicating consideration. And I thought, I mean, John did explain how, he or they local law. And I believe that, you know, I think they have thought about it, and I agree. Best, it really, it is great stuff all the time. You know.
There, you're supposed to make that page now. See it, if you've been on the warrant committee, she would have convinced you already. Okay, so the amendment's accepted and we're discussing the main motion as amended. Is there any more comment or questions? All those in favor of Article 70 as amended, please say aye. All those opposed to Article 70 as amended, please say nay. I think it's fairly obviously. So I would say that Article 70 passes. Article 71. To see what sum the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to raise and appropriate for Department 991 capital improvement plan transfers for the 2023-2024 town budget. Is there a any discussion of Article 71? Hearing none, Article 71 can go with a vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 71 passes. 72. See if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to increase the property tax levy limit by 565,775.00. Is there a recommendation? The warrant committee is recommending a pass over, which means that this article will be passed over, no action will be taken on it, and it basically disappears. Explanation.
All yours. Yeah. The LD one calculation is a very complicated calculation. We started at the beginning of the budget process, brought it forward with this figure, but upon legal review, we had made a mistake on the calculation. So legally, we do not need to vote on every one. The amount that we are raising for the municipal appropriation is under the LD one cap. We can pass over this article, legally.
Because we don't.
That's
Any other questions? Right, I don't think we have to vote fast, let it go. It's been passed. Passed over. Passed. See, you have to say that. Article 73, to see if the inhabitants of the town of Mount Desert will vote to ratify the select board's approval of the Marina Propriety Fund budget. Discussion. Say whether there's no recommendation. Never tell. You've been sitting too long.
The Marina Enterprise Zone, they basically create their own budget and generate their own income. It's just to show the disclosure on it, that how much money they spent this year in revenue. They took in $852,080, and they had $852 in expenses, so basically it's wash. Just a transparency.
Yes, we do, but all right, that's what this is for. All those in favor of ratifying Article 73, please say aye. All those opposed? Article 73 is ratified. We're into elementary school appropriations. And there will be a change when we get to the expenditure end of it. Where did I see this? In Article 89, at the end, we have to change. This is just a forewarning. The amount, the articles are listed wrong because we removed an article from the warrant. So on the last page of the warrant,
So Article 89 says 75 through 89, and it should read 74 through 88. So we'll start. 74 through 84 authorize expenditures in cost centers. Article 74, see what sum the board will be authorized to expend for regular instruction for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. 2023 amount was $1,985,147.
And second, whatever.
Any discussion of Article 74? Hearing none. All those in favor of passage of Article 74 as written? All those opposed? Article 74 passes. Article 75, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for special education for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2023 and ending June 30, 2024. The 2022-2023 amount was $784,733. Any discussion of Article 75? All those in favor of passage of Article 75, please say aye. All those opposed? Article 75 passes. Article 76, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for career and technical education for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. The 2022-2023 amount was $0.
And second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of passage of Article 76, please say aye. All those opposed? Article 76 passes. Article 77, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for other instruction for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. The 2022-2023 amount was $95,940. Any discussion of Article 77? All those in favor? Oh, sorry. Somebody here. You can probably shout, it's not pretty good here if you talk loud.
Other instruction is the co-curricular and the athletics, and then the regular summer school is included in other instruction.
Thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor of passage of Article 77? All those opposed? Article 77 passes. Article 78, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for student staff support for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. Is there a motion? Yep. Oh, I could read that to you. 2022-23 amount was $544,651.
And seconded by the Mark Committee.
All right, Article 78 is open for discussion. Any questions, queries? Wondering? Hearing none.
What is the
I'm sorry?
the students that have support includes like health services, technology, library, AV, improvement of instruction like curriculum work, that type of thing, and library.
Okay, so it's health, tech, library. What was the fourth one, Nancy?
Improvement of instruction like curriculum work, that type of thing.
Okay.
And library.
Any other questions? All those in favor of passage of Article 78? All those opposed? Article 78 passes as written. Article 79, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for system administration for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30, 2024. The 2022-2023 amount was $119,673. Any discussion about Article 79? All those in favor of passage of Article 79? All those opposed? Hearing none, Article 79 passes. Article 80, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for school administrator for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. The 2022-23 amount was $270,096.
And second by the
Any questions or queries?
What's the $50,000 difference for this year?
You know what the difference for the $50,000 difference is in here, anybody?
Increase in position, actually number of weeks, right? That position, regular salary, that.
So, regular salary, good? Okay. Any other questions? There was somebody else that raised their hand. Very exciting. All those in favor at Article 80 is written? All those opposed? Article 81, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for transportation and buses for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. Somebody can second. Any discussion or questions about Article 81? Why was there such a big increase from last year?
The salary and benefits increases and also fuel for the buses.
Here. Salary and benefits and fuel for the buses. All right, any other questions? All those in favor? All those opposed? Article 81 passes. Article 82, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for facilities maintenance for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. The 2022-2023 amount was $595,868.
and second by the committee.
Any questions?
Why such a huge increase?
Nancy will stand up and tell you. Oh, there you go.
So, like support superintendent. So that increase is due to the capital outlay. Debt service for the school was paid off last year, and the school board is utilizing those funds to keep up the school. There are some needs that the school has, and on the info sheet on the backside, you will see the information on what projects are using so that the school doesn't fall behind. We have other schools in the district that are utilizing their debt service as a way to keep up the school so that you don't have highs and lows within your budget to make sure that the school is properly taken care of.
Any other questions? Yep.
So the difference between the debt service, which is the next article, is $285,000, but the difference between the $595,868 and the $932,971 is closer to $350,000.
Yep. And when we get to that article, you can explain.
He was saying it's debt service, so I'm just wondering what the extra 100,000. He just said there.
You mean the extra 100,000 between 932 and 85?
Well, no,
The difference.
the difference between 595, 868 and 932, 971. Unfortunately, I said this was printed, what the difference was, but that's roughly 350,000. And then they took away 285,000 because the board is recommending 0. So there's still an extra $70,000 for them. So I'm wondering why.
Can you explain that within this article, and then we can deal with Article 83 next?
Salaries, benefits. What's the included? What's the nature? Question. Looking at articles that have been appearing in the Islander with regard to all kinds of changes in the schools, are there things in this, roughly 300,000 add-on that would be absolute obsolete by NBI Elementary being folded into something else?
It's my understanding that these are things that need to be done now and not be affected by things being old. But in the warrant committee discussion, we've had this all year. The answer was these are things that need to be done and have nothing, what may or may not happen. Oh, and Brian's going to explain it even better.
Public Works Director, but I'm also the chair of the school committee. So what we're doing is a kind of a phased approach. So we had the first phase where we hired the architect, and we're doing activities right now towards this. That was, we put in the budget last year. What we're paying for out of that 285, a portion of that is $60,000 towards the technical services for this upcoming fiscal year. And what we do is to look at the suite of things that we need to do in terms of building repair and maintenance, and prioritize those such that we're not doing things that we should be waiting for, the answer to those questions down the road. If the building were to change use, we have plenty of time, we kind of bake that into the process, that we're going to do those things that make sense regardless of building use first, and then prioritize those that might make sense depending upon building use as later in the project. So that we're taking into account the timing of that, and there is a different use of the building. Does that help? Any other questions for Frank who knows all the answers? That?
Confused. Seems to me that what we're saying here, we paid off.
Can you talk loud?
Paid off for
Right.
receiving 85,000. That's not necessarily connected to any kind of increase in facility. You just say that. The real increase for facilities maintenance is in fact the difference between the 555 and 932.
Right, we're not dealing with Article 83 at all.
And that's great savings.
Right.
I mean,
Right now, we're dealing with 82 still. When we get to the next article, you should say that again. Any other questions about Article 82? All right, hearing none, all in favor of Article 82, please say aye. All those opposed? Article 82 passes. Article 83, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for debt service and other commitments for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. The 2022-23 amount was $285,154. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of Article 83, please say aye. Those opposed? Hearing none. Article 83 passes. Article 84, to see what sum the school board will be authorized to expend for all other expenditures for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. 2022-2023 amount is $75,000. Warrant Committee is recommending $75,000. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Article 84 passes. The next two articles raise the funds that you just authorized them to spend them. So, hand vote is required for the articles. There's 3 hand votes coming up. You kept your blue cards and 1 written ballot that we have to go through. Article 85. The voters of the town of Mount Desert will appropriate for the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act. They recommended $2,090,710. And to see what sum the voters of Mount Desert will raise as the town contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, in accordance with the Maine Revised Statute, Title 20-A, Section 15688, for the period July 1, 2023, and ending June 30, 2024. All right, any questions? Go ahead.
I just wonder why it's saying from kindergarten to grade 12. They're not.
Because the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act requires that they say in K through 12. It's just in the law. It's been there for 5 or 6 years. That we've been doing this. Yeah. And it's just the way the legal term, the thing has to be read. That's, I actually knew an answer. Correct. Any other questions? Good. All those in favor of Article 85, please raise your blue cards. Yes. And all those opposed to Article 85? Seeing none, Article 85 passes, and the count was 74 ayes. This may be a standing record, but it was 51 ayes. He did. And we also have to have a hand count, which we know won't be as high now that everybody's. So, hand count is required for Article 68. Article 86, to see what sum, 2 of them left. To see what sum the voters of the town of Mount Desert will raise and appropriate for the annual payments on debt service previously approved by the legislative body for non-state funded school construction project, non-state funded portions of school construction programs, and minor capital projects in addition to the funds appropriated as the local share of the town of Mount Desert's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12 for the period July 1st, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. And the recommendation is? Are there any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please raise your blue cards. 2 people left. And Somebody made it vote. All those opposed to Article 86? Seeing none, Article 6 passes and the vote was 71 ayes to 0. All right, next one, written ballot, oh, this is the written, this is where you all get to walk through. And no sneaking out the back door after you vote, you've seen that done many times. Article 87. See what's on the board of the town. Will raise and appropriate an additional local funds for school purposes. Recommended $2,587,458 for the period July 1st, 2023 and ending July 30th, 2024, which exceeds the state's essential programs and services allocation model by $2,587,458 as required to fund the budget recommended by the school board. So the Warrant Committee is recommending the figures you just read. Needed and seconded. Any discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your blue card. Okay, all those in favor and opposed, come up here. Come up to the file and go up the side out and way out. Accepting. Eight. Doing this. There's some piece that. Yeah, I can see that.
Did everybody who wanted to vote, they were done doing it and hopefully we had enough. Wait for it.
We'll just tally everything. And we'll verify the tallies.
Finish voting, didn't vote.
That would be the time showing up. Article 87 passes by a vote of 70 yeas, 2 nays. Now we move. Article handout is required for Article 88. To see what some of the voters of the town of Mount Desert will authorize the school board to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023, and ending June 30th, 2024, from the town's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20-A, Section 15690, unexpended balance, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of school. The 2022-23 total budget was $4,937,86. So that's a figure of $5,204,984. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of passage of Article 88? This is the hand count, so you gotta hold your cards up again. We probably must. Yep, read it. All those opposed? Yeah, there's no sense keeping your cards. They're gonna change the color next week. Take the moment, write notes on them. Any opposed? $69 to nothing. Article 88 passes. Article 89, we're gonna have to amend this because of a type of a change in the warrant. We're gonna read it as written and then we'll amend it and then we'll go back. In addition to the amount in Article 75 through 89, should the school board be authorized to expend such other sums as may be received from state or federal grants or programs or other sources during the fiscal year 2023-2024 for school purposes, provided that such grants, programs, or other sources do not require the expenditure of other funds not previously appropriated. Current year total is $203,079. 203,000. I like the school system. 203,079. Any discussion now that we got the figure cut back a little bit? And amendment it. All right, so you're not big. Figure, where do you? And you think anybody might second you? All right, the amendment we're gonna talk about is to change the wording from Article 74 to 88. Would you require me to read the whole paragraph within the proper order? I think so. Any discussion about the change? Somebody needs to go home. All those in favor of the amendment, please say. All those opposed to the amendment, please say nay. Now, voting on the full article written, in addition to the amount in Article 74 through 88, shall the school board be authorized to expend such other
sums may be received from state or federal grants or programs or other sources during the fiscal year 2023-2024. Well, any discussion of the amended main article? All those in favor of the main article? All those opposed? Hearing none, I say Article 89 passes. That would be the end of the warrant article. And I would entertain a move to adjourn. The next, you should run now while you get a chance to get the position.
I just want to thank the warrant committee and the selectmen and everyone who every day and do what we do. Work, so thank you.
Yeah.